Now, for this, I can create a rounded corner for this my text field. If you notice, this is having a sharp corner here. So let's say I want to create a rounded corner from my text field. I can just select it, then come to the top here where you have the frame properties. You see the corner radius. So just enter, and let's say I want it to be 16 border radius. Okay, 60. You notice the curve, it appears as a curve here, but this curve is too much for me. So I'm just going to reduce it to say 18. Yeah, 18 is okay for me. Now you notice that I'm designing within the constraint of this my column here. Now that is the essence of column, to have uniform spacing between for your design. You notice 24, I have a distance of 24 here, then distance of 24 here. So that's the essence of this column here, just to guide you in your design. So you won't be creating irregular designs in terms of spacing and all. So that's for my email field. And the next field I want to create is password field. So this is my password field here. Then the distance between the email field and the password field, I can make it 16 or 8. Let me make it 8. 16 is okay. 16 is okay. So that's for my email and text field. Now, in your mobile sign up field, let's say there are some features, there are some things you need to have on your login screen. Here it's like just to aid user experience. So let's say a user forgets his or her password. You can also fix in a text link into this frame. So for that, I'm going to create a forgot password text here. Yeah, so forgot password. So now another thing you should note is, please, personally, this is my personal bias. I don't make use of pitch black color. I don't make use of pitch black color for my text. So I can just make use of gray here. Just something off. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be pitch black like that. So I can just align it here. So forgot password. Yeah. So the distance between this forgot password and the password field, let's make it 16. I hope you remember how we are measuring the distance, how these numbers are appearing. So hold down Alt, then over the elements you want to compare it with. Text field, over on it, then it shows the distance from the text to the text field, 16. Distance from text to the frame, 24. So take note of that. So that's forgot password. And let's create our CTA, that's our call to action button. So that's the sign in button. So let's see, sign in. Then now this is where the align tool comes in. Remember I said we have the align features here. So this align feature is just this align icons here, just to align your elements to the frame, to wherever you want it to be on the frame. So right here, this is aligned left. So it's aligned to the left here. This is aligned center. It's aligned to the center here. This is aligned right. So it aligns it to the right here. Aligned to the top, right and top. This is where it comes up. Then to the center, horizontal. Is this horizontal? So it aligns here. Then down here, it aligns here. So that's how the align, that's how this alignment property work here. So left, middle, right, top, center, bottom. Again, left, center, right, top, center, bottom. So right now, I want to align this to the center vertically. I mean, this is vertical, yeah. I want to align this to the center vertically, so I can just click on this second icon here. Oh, horizontal, interesting. So I just click on it, then it aligns to the center here. Then click and drag it to, let's say, up here. So now, remember how we created our auto layout. So for buttons, you make use of anything. You don't group. Now, that is one mistake people usually make. And that's how I started out. So I usually I usually use rectangles to create my buttons and my text field and all. So please don't group, make use of auto layout. Create a frame. Create a frame. Along the line, you see the reason why we need to the essence of creating frames. So remember how we created our auto layout frame, Shift A. So we have these borders here. So it changes to this. So yeah, I can just click and drag like so, or I can create distance between the edges here by hovering on this. Do you see there's a red line here that highlights the number? So you can just click on it. Then it shows you the padding. Shows the padding distance between the text and the edge of the container. So I'm going to say, let's make this 156. So yeah, that's the left padding. The left padding has 156. Then for the right padding, let me make it 156 as well. So you notice they are equal distance here. So we have 156 here, we have 156 here. So now this is too big for me. Like I said, we have to design within the constraint of these columns here for uniform spacing, because it's looking out of space. It's looking out of, the visual is not balanced. So you have to make sure it's within the column here. So I can just reduce the size of this. Let's make this 132. Let's make this 132. Yeah, you can leave it like this as long as it's within the constraints of the column. So, or you can just hold down Alt and Command on your keyboard and click and drag. So it creates equal distance between the two, for the two sides here. So I'm just going to center it. Then I notice it's not looking balanced. It is actually 2024. This should be 24 too as well. Yeah. So just going to, yeah. So I'm going to give this a fill color. Let me give this, remember how we fixed in the fill color for our button. So go to the fill property, click on the plus icon, then click on the color palette, then let's give it like, which color should we use? Let's make use of blue. Let's make use of blue. So now this is where contrast comes in. Now you notice this is too hard to read. Your sign in text being black and a blue color, it's making it difficult for me to actually read what is here. So you want to build contrast, keep note of that. So I'm going to change this to white. Yeah, something like this. Now remember, this is too close to the edge for me. The text is too close to the top and bottom of the button. So I'm just going to click on the frame and just hold down Alt and Command, then click and drag. So, yes. So remember, we have rounded corners here. You don't want to create rounded corners for your text field and create a sharp corner radius for your button. The visual balance is going to be off. So you want to make sure they are consistent. So if you have sharp corners for your buttons, you want to make sure your text field have sharp corners. Probably make sure they are all consistent. And there are means to these rounded corners too as well. So you can read up on that. But for starters, the rounded corners, like if you have rounded corners like this, they're just trying to convey a sense of friendliness, playfulness to the product you are building. If you have sharp corners like this, they are trying to convey a sense of formality, like a formal kind of feeling. So that's that. So I want to make this rounded corner. So this is 8. I'm going to make this one to 8. So remember how we did that? 8. So that's for that. So we have our text field, the forgot password, and our CTA. So distance, remember, 8 points grid system. That's what I'm using. So multiples of 8, 8, 16, 32, 40, 48. So 40, 48, 40. Yeah. So let me make use of 32 here. Yeah. So now it's not compulsory for you to make use of a fill color here. It's not compulsory. You can change it to stroke, whatever rocks your boat. So instead of having fill color here, you can turn off this fill using this eye icon here. So you can turn it off here, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on. So let's say you want to make use of stroke. You don't want to make use of fill. You turn it off, then come to the stroke property here. Click on plus, then you have the stroke here. Remember, pitch black, I don't like pitch black. It's too somehow for me, sharp. So I can just make use of light shade, like a gray color here. So yeah, so that's for that. And now for in terms of user experience, you have to create multiple options for your user to either create an account or to sign up or to log in. So by providing multiple options, I mean probably signing in through social like Google, Facebook, or Instagram, or any other thing. So let's say you want to create that. Let's make use of or sign or continue with. So I'm just going to align this to the center. Remember, these alignment icons here, align horizontal centers. Yeah. So continue with, let's say Google. Now, you don't want to make use of text, just text alone. Now, there are different ways you can bring in icons. You can make use of plugins. You can make use of community files. You can download icons online as well. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to walk you through how to use plugins and all. So if you want to, let's say you want your users to continue with Google, you can just, let's say you want to make use of the icon. You can come to, personally, I just right click on the interface here. All these ones are long process. Just right click on the interface here, then come down to plugins. These are my list of plugins. All your plugins appear here. The installed plugins. So if you want to install a plugin, just come to browse plugins in community. So again, right click, plugins, scroll down, come to browse plugins in community. So click on that, and it opens the community interface for you inside of Figma.